thing, Professor Dr. Aylin SEÇKİN GEORGES from Istanbul Bilgi University. She's a well-known economist, and especially in the field of economy of art and entertainment. So she's going to be here now in a minute to talk about her experience and her field knowledge about how the NFTs can be considered as a means for investment, or are they a means of investment? Because we've been talking about this issue for some time. I mean, people buy NFTs for huge amounts of money. Is it possible? Is it logical? Why? How? We were talking about this. Now she's an expert on these, and she's published several books and lots of articles about that. And she's going to be talking about that issue. So I would like to invite her now, Professor Dr. Aylin SEÇKİN, to share her experience and knowledge with us. Hocam, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to have this lecture with you. So I'm waiting for a lot of questions at the end of my lecture. I will start with a brief introduction to art economics, and then I will switch to NFTs, because in order to understand the dynamics of NFT markets, I think you should understand what is going on in the art market. So
just carry on.
Okay. So the plan of the talk is just I want to start first with a brief review of art markets. So art object characteristics, art market characteristics, and I want to give you some data. So art market dynamics and pricing of art objects as well. The pricing of art is itself art. So I'm not going to talk a lot, on these issues, but just touch upon. Also, I want to say a few words about reasons to collect art, because if you understand that, you will see that maybe collectors of NFTs are different from collectors of physical art. And then in the second part, after this brief introduction on art markets, I will switch to NFTs. So when we talk about art objects and their sale prices, so they attract public attention. Okay, media coverage in TVs, newspapers, art magazines, because the conversational currency of art is very high, in the sense that people love to talk about some art objects. I'm going to show you some of them actually today. So economists, on the other hand, have approached art in a different perspective, because the investment dimension of art is interesting for us. So what are the returns of owning art objects? Basically, are the topics of art economists. So whether collecting art is profitable, who buys why, and the auctions in general are really the glamour part of art markets. And we see lots of books on that. I brought you some examples: The Economics of Contemporary Art, The Fine Art and High Finance. It's rather technical book on estimating art prices, art returns. And Art of the Deal, again, it's an interesting book if you're interested to understand these markets. And my book on the economics of art in Turkish, I published last summer. There are some other books on basically art prices, comparison of top artworks, and art frauds, art forgery. So these are some books, and also digital art collection and stuff like that. I can suggest you the book of Paul Wilder. He's a well-known media artist and digital art collector. So basic characteristics of art objects are that, the fact that art is a conspicuous consumption good. That means you buy art like you buy a Louis Vuitton bag. Okay, so you want to signal that you have a strong purchasing power and you can buy this and that. So on the other hand, it's aesthetic and unique good. So this uniqueness also makes interesting NFT. Being a unique digital locked objects, if you want, digital collectible pieces. They are heterogeneous as NFTs, and they have infrequent resale. Here I want to talk about if you buy an artwork and if you assume that there are no online auctions possible. But over time, that online sales made these infrequent resale become frequent, and the resales become frequent, and you can buy now online from different art platforms. You can buy art as you can buy NFTs. So regarding art market, we know that there are lots of asymmetries of information, and the asymmetries of information is this issue is very important when we will talk about NFTs. Why? Because there are millions of pieces on platforms, and we don't know detailed information about the past of these artists. So that creates asymmetries. From economics, this is related to moral hazard problem, Lemon's problem. When you buy a car, you don't know whether the motor is dead or a good car. So this is also in art objects. Also, you have this risk. It's a fixed supply for dead artists. So the supply creates. The fact that artist is dead creates this problem. Price depends on taste, on fashion, and other random factors. Again, I'm going to touch upon. Don't forget this characteristic, because in NFTs as well there is this fashionable items, hype, and keeping up with Joneses. This is a very important concept. If my friend buys something, I want to buy the same thing. So keeping up with Joneses, nispet ekonomisi in Turkish, if you want, it is very, very strong in art markets and also in NFTs. Next, we know that there are considerable transaction costs, and again, these costs in physical art markets are taxes you buy when you pay when you buy art, commissions to auctioneers, transport costs, conservation costs, if it's an old artwork, restoration costs, etc. There are lots of costs that you have to, insurance costs, etc. And related to that, for NFTs as well, you have some costs. You have gas fees if you're an artist, or and that creates still important transaction costs in NFT markets. And also there are some psychic returns in this market. When we say psychic returns, I will come to this concept later on. This is a factor which is missing in NFT markets, in the sense that most of the time NFTs are like hot potatoes. Okay? People buy and sell NFTs sometimes in about 6 hours. Okay, so in artworks we don't, in physical artworks we don't see that. On the average, people keep artworks for about 10 to 15 years. I mean, it is suggestible to keep these artworks. And as you know, NFT buyers are really attempted to resell these NFTs. Basically, some of these NFTs, especially profile picture category, we see that the returns are very high, and that creates that creates the bubble. The hot potato. The faster you pass the potato to the next collector, that creates that increases the tension, and the speed of the bubble. I'm going to talk about that, all these issues. So why I explain all this to you, because put these in mind before considering NFT markets. Without understanding art market characteristics, you may commit some errors. Regarding the market for plastic arts, let me give you some data. The size of the global market in 2021 is about $65 billion for globally. In Turkey, the market is very small. In terms of US dollar, auction data is very limited. It's about $5 million for 2021. But this is due to the severe depreciation of Turkish lira. So now Turkish arts, especially, I'm talking about the price of artworks in galleries and auctions. And regarding the online art sales and NFT sales by Turkish buyers, we don't have data. Okay, so that's why maybe $5 million may not represent the size of the Turkish art market today. However, we don't know since the anonymous buyers, we don't know. We know the name, but they stay anonymous, and we don't know whether they are Turkish or not. So it's hard to define the size of the NFT sale in Turkey, given that all these platforms are global platforms. So I want to show you some artworks that made the news in Turkey. So this is Osman Hamdi's in the front of Green Mosque painting, sold for $4.5 million on May 14, 2016, and that was about all. I mean, that was maybe the most expensive painting sold, and then we see the free fall in physical artworks in Turkey. Another important painting, why I show you this, because this is a painting by Taner Ceylan, and it was sold at Sotheby's in 2009. In Sotheby's, for the first time, there was an auction related to Turkish contemporary artists. They followed that for 3 years, and then they stopped it. This painting also is important. It's another painting of Osman Hamdi, and it was sold for £3.4 million in 2008. So this painting, they called me from BBC, and I remember I gave an interview, and they asked me my comments about the price, and I still hold my initial views that the owner of this painting is a Turkish collector, and it's kind of museum piece, as you see, because it's again an Osman Hamdi piece, and this is an iconic work by Osman Hamdi. As everyone knows, there was a winner's curse. There was a competition between Pera Museum and Istanbul Modern for this painting, and Pera Museum in 2004 paid a lot of money for this artwork, $3.5 million. It's a huge money, and we don't see these prices now in physical art market in Turkey. And again, another painting, Burhan Doğançay, that was sold for $1 million. And another one that was Taner Ceylan's painting, again in 2009 auctions. So I brought you some auction data. As you see, the sales of physical art prices, auction prices, keeps falling. The highest price was around 2010. The auction the size of auction volume. A gradual fall until we arrived to 2019. We finished the year with $10.6 million. So it's a striking fall. So in the world, we see record prices. In November 2017, we see in Sotheby's. We see increases. Da Vinci is being sold for $450.3 million. And Basquiat painting again in the same year, that was also record works, $110 million of Basquiat. So art market dynamics are complex. Just want to conclude. So information asymmetries, as I told you about quality and price. You may be a collector, and you may know that the artwork is not the original one, and you may just pretend that it's an original one because you know the quality and the price, and the other guy doesn't know. So you may benefit from his lack of information. So there are lots of issues related to that, and there are some excess, the issues of excess demand for some dead artists, as I told you, due to fixed supply, and price depends on geography, taste, and fashion. And only auction prices are known to the public because there are some other sales which are called private sales or sales from galleries which we never know who bought and at what price. So there are also important commissions, as I told you, and transaction costs. So, what are the factors affecting the art prices? When we look at that, we see that there is a structure in art price, in arts and paintings pricing. When we look at NFTs, how NFTs are priced, what makes NFT prices, how we can rationalize NFT prices. It's not easy to answer this question. Now, in the physical art market, when we look at the prices, art style, production year, provenance, that means the artwork is owned by who is very important, the condition, whether it's a restored, pre-restored work, it's a destroyed work, what is the condition, the size, the medium, is it a canvas, oil on canvas, it's aquarelle on paper, all this is related to medium. Aesthetic value, of course, what people think about, or what art critics think about this artwork. Artist's own period, artist's gallery, these are very, very important issues. Now again, I tell you this because I want you to think that when we look at the aesthetic value of NFTs, especially art NFTs, we don't see much art critics reports or comments or reviews on NFTs. Again, we don't see detailed information about artist's period, artist himself or herself. So that means in the near future, which we see some examples, we will see lots of curatorial works and companies which will help collectors or buyers, NFT buyers, to guide them. Because I always criticize the fact that NFTs is a brilliant discovery. There won't be any gatekeepers. There won't be any galleries. Artists will not need any galleries anymore. Galleries. I don't agree on that. We cannot say that galleries are. Artists do not need galleries. Okay, it's a very naive. If we believe on that, it will be very naive. Why? Because that makes market prices of any asset. Okay, so NFT. If we assume that NFTs are assets, as investment assets, then we have to have some attach some information to aesthetic value, which is missing, still missing. So put aside, take a note, saying that over the in the near future we will see some art critics entering into the NFT platforms. There will be some companies giving NFT consultancy about the types of NFTs. So in the physical artwork, artist gallery is also important. We call this the gallery premium. Okay, so there are some galleries, they are so important, so famous. If you become the artist of such a gallery like Gagosian or White Cube, then all of a sudden you become worldwide known artist. So same thing for NFT artists. The platform you are on also will add some premium. So the price difference between different NFT platforms also is a signal about the aesthetic quality of the work. Of course, for physical artworks, exhibitions, art fairs that the artists have participated, collections containing the artist's works, all this adds some information. And as you see, we have lots of information if we, in physical art markets related to artists. And in NFTs, there are lots of anonymous artists, and it's like you invest eyes closed. So if you want to throw your money and forget about your money, that may be a decision, but I don't think that it's a good idea to invest that way. Okay, so next I want to show you a couple of pictures related to my own experience. So museums have a huge art capital, and on top of everything, there are some works like Mona Lisa in Louvre Museum and Osman Hamdi Turtle Trainer in Pera Museum, as I I have shown to you. So these works, besides that they are aesthetically known, etc., they have also some other importance. Why? I want to say that art represents a conversational currency. So what makes you talk about makes the work much more expensive. So art, glam and fame, so all three feed each other for higher prices. So let's put this aside. Then, if we ask ourselves, why people collect art? There are basically maybe three answers for that. The first one could be the fact that people buy art for financial returns. It's an investment decision, and you buy because you expect that the art prices will increase in the near future or in the midterm period. So you buy and you forget for about 10 to 15 years. Or you may say that, okay, I buy graffiti art because it reflects my rebel character. Or you may say that, no, I buy art because I expect to derive some psychic return. So, as I have calculated, in Turkey, prestige purchases or art purchases based on the fact that buying art will open me some doors in terms of reputation, prestige, feeling happier, etc. So I just put all these positive feelings into the psychic returns section. So in Turkey, these psychic returns are equal to 30% of the artworks. Now, once you know that, I wonder what are the psychic returns for NFTs. Okay, it's a study which has no one has yet calculated. Whereas the psychic returns of art, physical art objects, you have some works, including my article on that. So if you're interested, what is the value, what is the price that people are ready to pay to have a little bit more prestige. So it's like, as I said, it's like buying a Louis Vuitton a bag and or a famous Rolex watch, etc. Now, having said that, the glam part is important. As you see, collectors are mostly famous businessmen or people from art world, etc. Now, coming back to conversational aspects of artworks, and as you know, the signaling role of some art objects are important to mention, and for an NFT to become an iconic work, it has to be known for a wider public in the world. So this work of Maurizio Catalan is one of them. As you see, after this work, it has become a marketing tool. Many brands follow that. And this is Maurizio Catalan, and he has a golden toilet. If you go to New York Guggenheim Museum, third floor, there's a toilet. It's not that one because I've been in that toilet, and people are getting in. It's not an artwork actually. It's a normal toilet, and you can also take pictures. Why I show you this? Because this is a guy who is having fun in producing these kind of works. Now here, I don't know if I can show you these videos. I try to show. I have two videos here, this is my own video. And again, these two pieces are excellent examples for NFTs, which I've been thinking to transform them into NFTs. And let me tell you why. The first video on the left, sound, we have sound. Şurada açabiliyor muyuz acaba? Bununla mı ilgili? Neyse, sorun değil eğer açamıyorsak. Ses kapalı mı? İkisi de şey...
Satıyorum. Saat 1, saat 2, saat 750 bin lira. Bravo. 1429 numara teşekkür ediyorum.
Bu da bir güzel... sorry. This is a moment filmed by me from an auction. It's a painting of Farenza Zaid during her period in Germany. And the left-hand side, it's sad that I couldn't show you this video. This is a video taken by me because I was in this room in October 2018. I was in London in Sotheby's auction hall, and I took this video. And in this video, actually, this moment, in this moment, there was something interesting. I was screaming, and my scream was almost in every videos which made the world on that day. So these are the again the issues which make art to be talked. Again, the Basquiat's painting purchased by Yusaku, who is also an investor to the project, the Moon project of Elon Musk. And the other is the artwork. It's a shark, which was sold for $12 million. bought by Steve Cohen. It's a work of Damien Hirst. So Steve Cohen was the one who bought the banana in Miami. He paid $120,000 for the banana, and he's a guy who earns $90,000 per hour. So for him, he wants to buy these kind of things because he wants to use the conversational currency of art. Then again, to finish, Turkish artist Ali Can Leblebici, he got mad with his collector who wanted to buy the painting 50% with a 50% reduction, and he sent him half of the painting. So that made the news. Again, the two paintings made by the same artist, Mark Rothko. I don't have time. Normally, it's a quiz question. Maybe I can leave this to you to answer later on. These paintings were sold in the same year, 3 months apart. And one painting is sold 3 times than the other. And the question is why? Which painting and why? Maybe I can come back answering this at the end of my presentation. So, what happened in 2 years? What have been changed? We developed new habits. Okay, so staying cash, rising uncertainty, the health crisis, the rise of online shopping, gaming. These were already very common, maybe among younger people, but that becomes a routine for every people from different ages. So we see the rise of new entertainment, and artists. We see that artists were also in financial trouble during the pandemic period. On one side, and on the other side, we saw the rising size of the cryptocurrency market. We saw the rising size of Bitcoins and also Ethereum, and then especially the owners of Ethereum. I think they wanted to have a new channel to use their accumulated currency. So all this joined each other and started this new and interesting this market, interesting market. Now, how to understand the NFT market? Of course, we shouldn't forget the physical art market. We should have physical art market on one side in order to compare and analyze what is going on in the NFT market. Now, the first question, of course, is NFT worth buying? Okay, is it a good idea? What do we do? It's just a caricature picture, and is it a good idea to pay this much money? So when we look at NFTs, what we see? We see, first of all, the rise of NFTs in the collectibles side. So when we say collectibles, all the items which worth collecting include art, but also there are other assets like gaming assets used in games, memes, moments like in NBA Top Shots, name services or NFT, music. You may have music NFTs. You may have redeemables, access to chats, events. For example, if you have the NFT of certain things, and you have, these are basically DAOs. Today, I'm not gonna get into details of DAOs, but they are extremely popular as well, and of course historic release. So we see lots of activities in collectibles, but we don't see yet much development in DeFi, in insurance and tokenized liquidity. We see limited activities, and regarding securities, in bonds, real estate, and in other financial products, again, we don't see yet many examples. So we can say that NFTs then are expected to develop also for these two subsectors. Now I brought you some data, much more recent data. You can check this. I don't know which website or which platform you use. I use NFT Go. Let us have some idea about the market overview. What is the market sentiment as of yesterday? I prepared this presentation yesterday. So as you see, market sentiment, it's normal. So we can say that this crazy activity of last August, it has been over. The market sentiment is normal. On the other hand, we can say that in terms of traders, number of buyers and sellers, number of sellers are a little bit higher. There are more people who are selling than buying. So this is the last 7 days average data. So mostly people are selling those days. And related to profit, are people making profits versus losses? So this is the 30-day profit versus losses. As you see, profits are twice higher than losses, but that doesn't mean that there are no losses in the NFT market. So that's the first, first information that I wanted you to see. The second data which I want to attract your attention is the again the 7-day market volume. And as you see, we have had the striking fall in last couple of days ago, and then we see kind of a positive, some upward movement, if you want, and if you follow the news, we see a new and increased, if you want, interest, especially for art segments. Next information is related to the holders versus traders in this volume. As you see, we see there are more sellers in this data for about for last week. Regarding the category, which category had the, if you want, the largest market cap, as you see, which is very interesting. We see profile pictures. This category is rising, and it's really important. Now, what is the share of art? And here, when we say collectibles, other than all the collectibles other than art, memes, etc. DeFi, as you see, it's almost we see nothing. We have also music is very limited. We see rising, DAOs are rising, as you see. Utilities almost same size as size of art, and games also. And we will see what will happen. But that the profile picture market, that's the issue. That's the category which brings all the energy to the NFT market. Now, I think you should put more attention to this, and from business wise, you should think of it. To what extent we are talking about art here, and what is the meaning of buying, selling profile pictures. You may, I think it's a good idea if you compare these profile pictures to domain names. So people want to buy these profile pictures. Probably they will, some of these profile pictures may be related to some brands, and buying earlier some domain names for future purposes, in the future to be able to sell to big companies. I think these profile pictures have these features. They have a very bright future, but by looking at that, we cannot say that NFTs, and we cannot compare directly NFTs and art. So these are two different, as you see, two different markets. What else I want to show you? I want to show you that the collection distribution, what are the top collections? As you see, in terms of market cap, we see CryptoPunks about 8.77%, then comes Bored Ape, Art Blocks with 4.42%, and it goes down like that. And another important thing is the largest part of these, this green part, that means other 66.65%, that means there are so many tiny collections which are not known individually. They do not make as much as these ones to make the list. That means they have a very, very small market cap, but they are not worth being listed. However, that's the largest side. What we understand from here, as if you have heard superstar economics or superstar models, as you see again, a fewer celebrities getting the largest amount of revenue. So again, here the 66 or almost 67% of the market is not making that much money. So the remaining only the few top 10 collections are worth investing for the major population. Again, in terms of volume, again, if you put all the data, again you see the profile pictures which make the hype, and then we see collectibles like basically game assets, some of the assets, but sports, sports collectibles like NBA moments, etc. are classified here. So basically here, the share of art is small, and in terms of we see also the sales related to metaverse. So regarding here again, if you look at I think for the whole year as well, nothing much changed. The same usual suspects collections are always on top. Regarding liquidity, which collections are more liquid? We see again art is quite liquid category. So this is interesting. They have a very small share, but they are very liquid. Why? It is not difficult to understand why, because art category basically produced, these works are produced by artists, so artists are known and easily be checked, and they mostly don't want to stay anonymous. So it's important. It's easy to get information about them. Profile pictures. They are also as liquid as metaverse assets, especially land. Here, in terms of liquidity, as you see, sports category, especially the NBA Top Shots and similar NFTs from sports categories are also very liquid assets. Especially, so this data, let me remind you that this is the last, the 7 days data. So starting today, if you go back 7 days, so that's the picture of the market. So mostly the liquid assets are art, profile pictures, land in the metaverse, and sports assets. You can also check, for example, all this the floor price of crypto punks. For example, what is the cheapest crypto punk? Which is the highest one? You can examine all these collections, all this data set one by one, and the price movements on the rise, on the fall. You can access this data to observe. Again, when you look at that, I don't see any art in it. I don't see any, I told you the art market characteristics, collections, art pricing. We don't see all this here. It's a different ball game. It's a different environment here. And although everything is online and you can get information, still there are lots of information asymmetries. Even if you know the number of transactions, some of these transactions may be undertaken by same collector under different names, and it's not easy to get all this information. So as you see, it goes down. There are lots of information. The listing, you can see changing prices or stable prices. You can have all this from NFT Go website. Now, what is important here, as I said, building an NFT network. So networking, especially on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Clubhouse, this interaction is important. And artists themselves may not be capable of doing all this NFT network building, but the idea is to create a hype with a teaser NFT drop, and there are new communication methods like self-promotion, name, brand, token. And characteristics of NFT markets, the degree of rarity, you can measure, you can have data, you have to check the data on the rarity, the quality of the community, the number of followers, the quality, the quality of interaction, and how the helping each other and how it works. The positive sum game category is important in the sense that have you heard? Maybe you haven't. Duyuyor musunuz? Hello? The positive sum game trade is the issue which is related to, okay, scratch my back, I will scratch yours. Okay, so NFT community building works exactly like that. But and also, as you know, if you are the first, it works well. And this is just a picture of in August, the hype of August. These were really crazy moments of last summer, and there were heavy transactions. Now, regarding all this it all started with, if you want, the CryptoPunks, Larva Lab, the CryptoPunks issue, and CryptoKitties. These were the 2017 hype, and at some point, CryptoKitties are completely forgotten. They are nowhere. No one is interested. But at some point, there were some kitties which were sold for $50,000. Now, I want to give you some information about the digital assets, rising of the digital assets. So this is a very famous portrait of Edmond de Bellamy. It was sold for $430,000 US dollar by the team collective, which is called Obvious. So this is a painting prepared by algorithms, and the second one is in March 2019. We see Mario Klingemann. It's an AI work which is called Memories of Passerby. So this work didn't really attract much attention. Again, this was prepared by AI. Then we see this was sold for $51,000. Then we see the work of Robert Alice. If you want, this is the first NFT, art NFT in history. This is prepared by Robert Alice, and it is sold for $130,000 US dollar at Christie's. And of course, then we see Beeple in March 2021, the first 5,000 days. This is sold for $69 million. One point I want to attract your attention. The payment was undertaken in Ethereum. However, the commissions were paid in US dollars to Christie's. So this is also Natyan cat. This was on Foundation platform, and this also created some hype on the platforms. This is again one of the 5,000 works of Beeple. Beeple's works are associated with hate to Trump, and I think that was also historically important works from this perspective. So I want to skip this. This is the work of Refik Anadol. You can get Refik Anadol's statistics, Murat Pak. You can get Murat Pak's statistics. This is important. This is the token of the artist. Artists' names may become money. This is Zani's piece. Zani issued its work as Zani and expressed in Ethereum. So you may buy this artist Zani's money and start collecting. The musicians enter also NFTs. They generate money. Decentraland, it's basically known for two things: buying real estate and virtual real estate, and buying and also renting some of these real estates for gallery shows, etc. So last 2 years ago, Koenig Gallery had a show in Decentraland. You enter into Decentraland with your avatars. Coca-Cola developed a DAO and sold these items, and then they generated about $500,000 revenue for Special Olympics, you know. Another interesting project was by Binance. Binance NFT platform I think it's a super interesting idea, and we will see some more companies following Binance, in the sense that Binance decided to transform Hermitage Museum's collection into an NFT, and one copy stays with the museum, the other one will be sold. And as you know, there are also fractional NFTs. So this will open new doors to collections, fractional collecting, secondary market of fractional NFTs. I think from this perspective, idle collections will become a liquid asset through NFTs. Nobody talks about that. I will explain how this will happen in my book, in my upcoming book. But MISA is the art platform of Koenig Gallery. So you can buy NFTs in euro with your credit card. You don't need to have a wallet here. Now, coming to in sports also, there is lots of new ideas. NBA Top Shots were one of them. Their collaboration with DAP-Radar, and we know there are lots of tokens of sports clubs, and esports is also handling very well all these developments related to NFTs. Even the GPS Block 3 mission of U.S. Defense, U.S. Space Force entered into the NFTs. They launched these collectibles, and you enter into auction to have these Space Force NFTs. Now let me say a few words about the risks. I generated 5 major risks in these markets. The first one is related to speculation, financial risks. The second one, as you may know, related to pollution, the environmental risks. And the third one, could it be possible to launder some money and theft? How safe are our wallets? And the last one is fashion. Could it be possible that one day NFTs become out of fashion, like CDs, like tape recorders, etc.? Now, related to speculation, I want to introduce you or show you this tulip price index in 1636. All of a sudden, in a very speedy way, the prices increase, and the decrease become very, very sharp in 2-3 days, as you see here, from 37 February 3rd to February 9th, the prices decreased about 100%. So, and then tulip price index, almost become zero. All the revenues were destroyed. So there are some people who believe that maybe bitcoins, maybe this Bitcoin bonanza, NFT bonanza will follow the behavior of tulip market. Another danger is, I think, NFTs look like gold rush to California in 1820s, 1830s. Maybe this will be a period that people will make movies of NFTs. Why NFTs are bad for the planet? There are lots of articles on that. especially for global warming. The main issue is the release of carbon emissions, and you know, there are several studies. They say that, for example, cryptocurrency mining required for the NFT process consumes more energy for every dollar of value generated. For example, they say that this, you know, the calculations related to Beeple's work, which was sold for $69 million, this creating these 300 items of digital art which people had planned to sell. This could have burned electricity which is needed to 2 decades of electricity for Europe. Okay, so it's a huge money if you want. The issue here is that, you know, why then these greenhouse emissions and all this, what are the reasons? I just want to skip. Let's say there are, you know, the issue is, first of all, NFTs need to be listed on the marketplace. So these marketplaces use these cryptocurrencies. The second issue is that the process of minting, and the last one is that you know, the issue, the process of solving these math problems. You know, the Prof consensus algorithm. As you see, they involve multiple computers and they consume a lot of energy. So these three problems related to NFT creates some issues related to money laundering. I want to say that this is not something which happens to NFTs. Art market itself is very famous for its how do you say, very you know, very accommodating feature of money laundering. So have you ever wondered why there is an Art Basel fair in Miami? You know, Miami close to Latin America, and you know, drug cartels are very, very close. So I don't want to blame each and every one who participates to Art Basel Miami, but you know, the location is important, and no one can say that there's no money laundering in art markets. And you know, there are, because the structure of art market is based on secrecy. So related to NFTs, NFT platforms are really you know, in terms of structure, ownership, operation, they are very different. There are no single platforms operating in the same way. The standards are different, or due diligence protocols are different. So, for example, the smart contracts can be used to create or mint NFTs, and they can govern their ownership and the transferability properties. You know, once you allow that, then you know, it's very easy to get lost, to, you know, to make yourself lost on the road, and all these are easy way to launder money. Then of course this is which, okay, this was something which I had to say 2 slides before. You know, how you can prevent, if you want, this, you know, lazy minting, buying energy efficient NFTs, Palm Network, Voice Marketplace. These are strategies to minimize, you know, effect on the planet. The other problem is hackers. Of course, the thefts, NFT thefts. There are lots of hackers. They still, even now, there are some hackers who are still in NFTs, and you know, you have to do something. And you know, what could be done? You know, Nifty Gateway has been hacked, and you know, and the idea is the Nifty spokesperson said that there is a fraudulent activity, and the company says, okay, users didn't have the two-factor authentication, so you need to have two-factor authentication, and you should access to your account through through solid credentials. You have to make sure you don't get connected from a place where you're not sure. But still, you cannot say, okay, take your precaution. As a platform, you have to you have to make sure that there is no fraudulent activity. And there are also lots of transactions in Discord or Twitter, very, very dangerous. It's not a recommended practice. However, you shouldn't let people use these platforms. Of course, is it a fashion? Is it a hype? One day we will get bored. It's a hype or it's value. Again, if you look at that, the sales volume lost in last 30 days about 76.45%. We see this drop, but it's not a surprise. Why? Because as you know, on May 4th, Federal Reserve will increase the interest rates, interbank interest rates, by 75 basis points, and this is quite a point, and which may shake NFT platforms, trade volumes, as well as stock markets. So this is important. Is NFT dead? Will we get bored? I don't know. But on the other hand, there are lots of fashion brands pushing the use of NFTs, like Gucci, like Dolce & Gabbana, and I'm sure these platforms will get engaged. When I first gave the NFT speech, that was a year ago, and I said that was before Facebook becoming Meta, and I said they will get involved. They will get involved with NFTs, and Meta, Facebook changed its name, and then it has become Meta, and now we know that Instagram will have its NFT version, and why not? I also think that Amazon will have its somehow NFT market in the near future. So having said that, I finished my presentation with a couple of pictures from my courses, visits, art fairs, collections, collector house visits, some museums, some city trips, out of city trips, collector houses with my students from art economics course, and this is my NFT. I have two NFTs. They are on OpenSea. So if we can make, I will try to show you the video if I can make it. I don't know. Okay, the sound is not coming. Okay, so let me say a few words about this work. If you enter into OpenSea, you will see at the Cro-Magnon art, and there's one more video. This is what we have done is we developed an algorithm, and with this algorithm, we obtained some music, original music. The AI composed the music for the painting of Van Gogh, and we wanted to do the same thing for Monk, the painting of Monk. Sorry. If you want, I can show it to you, or if you enter into OpenSea. But that was know, our Cro-Magnon art as project, it's over now. We don't, you know, as a team, we are no longer together. And however, I'm now with a software company in Yıldız Technical campus, you know, the Techno Park. I'm writing an NFT-based mobile art game. This was my digital art marketing master program thesis, which this is my student card. I didn't tell you, but I just graduated from digital marketing art marketing program, and I wrote this NFT-based game, and I'm now trying to develop it with the software developers. I hope it will see the day, and maybe I'm gonna make money and stop teaching. And also, I shot some movies, documentaries. On the left-hand side, you see some pictures on the set, on the movie set. It's the life of a professor. I played that. It's a documentary. And on the right-hand side, these are my presentations in the eastern part of Turkey. I like to visit Diyarbakır, Mardin, and all around Turkey to teach, to talk about art economics. Thank you very much for having me here. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer your questions. We may also have questions in Turkish, as if your professor permits.
Yes, any questions? I'd like to thank Aylin Hocam for her great presentation, actually. And it's provided a good perspective from the point of art and economics combined. So I'd like to thank you, Hocam, a lot again for sharing your wonderful.
I hope you liked it. I hope you're not that bored. I don't know.
I think that was an interesting point, because sometimes you need to look at things from a wider perspective, which also includes art. Any questions now about NFTs, their artistic value, and the investment side of the topic?
Okay, I know that there are some collectors among you. Tell me your strategy, and also tell me whether you consider yourself as an art collector or as an investor. Türkçe'de cevap verebilirsiniz. Yani rahat olun.
Ben çalıyorum.
Mikrofon verelim mi hocam?
Yes, any questions?
You got bored, you know, you are bored students. Let's make some NFTs of bored students. Huh? Soru yok mu? Yorgunlar.
Sorry.
Okay.
You showed us your NFT, and I wonder if you sold it or not.
No. Why? It's an excellent question. Now, this was like a gift to myself. I said, okay, why not on the day of 24th of November, you know, Teacher's Day, I uploaded this NFT. However, I knew that it's not sold. It's not going to be sold easily. Why? Because who am I? Does someone know me? Or without, for example, I have some followers in LinkedIn, in Twitter now, about 7,000 people. Now, if I have promoted myself, you know, in November I was nowhere. I was not active in Twitter. I was nowhere. So, if you don't promote yourself, if you don't create an image of yourself, first of all, it's impossible to get the audience. The second is OpenSea is like really open sea. It's like swimming in the ocean. Okay, who's gonna see you? What you're gonna do in the ocean? Okay, you're not gonna enjoy much. No one will see you. You are you point in the ocean. Whereas if you have, you know, if I have chosen a much more specialized platform, and if I had, for example, something more attractive to my students, you know, I have lots of comic pictures taken from from classroom. So I could have created a photograph, an NFT of one of my photographs related to my teaching, and I could have invited all my students to be part of this and this minting process, and if I have offered them something interesting, then that could create a hype. Now, if you remember, during the when it snowed, there was a Bin scooter. Its photograph was sold. Still, I don't know who bought it, but I just speculate that the owner of Bin could have purchased this photograph. Why? Because something must be related to you. It's like it could be one day the profile picture or the web symbol, something for the company. So for an NFT to be sold, it has to create this hype, some sentiment. Okay, so if you are not able to do that, then you should really charge. Our price was very high. Because my objective was not to sell that. I charged 0.1 Ethereum. It was quite expensive for this work. However, it was just for testing purposes. Now, if you sell something for $30 or $20, $10, something like that, I think it may work. It's not a guarantee, but it may work. So, charging very small price. But on the other hand, there are lots of NFTs for 2 cents, 5 cents. As I have shown you, the 67% of the market is based on junk NFTs. Other questions? So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't upload any NFTs. I think you should. But it's much better to have a team, a group, a collab, and have an idea to launch a DAO or a project, or you launch yourself, initiate your story through Twitter, and then try to promote yourself from these platforms. I think first you have to create your community, and community could be only started from your family, your friends. First they should invest in you.
Okay. Thank you, hocam. Any other question? Any? No? Okay. Hocam, once again, I'd like to thank you for your kind acceptance and presentation. Actually, it provided a lot of insight for us, personally and really. Now, before we go, we'd like to take a quick picture, and then I'll make some announcements about the next week, then we can leave. Now, let's take a quick picture. And